Not a bad spot to record a fucking album, right? Yeah, this is gonna be rad. As long as we're done before the snow comes. Oh, classy.
You like my hanging?
Classy. It's taking shape, taking shape.
You know, Tom and I, we'd discuss working on the album in the summer. That was our plan all along, but, you know, we didn't expect for a global pandemic to give us so much free time to work on the record.
This is Gary's first tracking. How do you feel?
Got together for rehearsals, just him and I, for quite a while up in the mountains, up at his place. Just, you know, started riffing out like crazy, you know.
Here he goes. Track one.
You know, I had a million riffs, but, you know, hadn't really started putting them together with Tom yet.
Hey, Steve. How do I turn up this guitar again?
Exodus, we never like to do recording anything in a real studio. We've rented vacation homes and, you know, in Guerneville near the Russian River, and we've booked like a warehouse space and built studios twice. But we usually do the drums in a real studio because, you know, you need so many more inputs and mic preamps and all that.
This is the Exodus home studio. Kind of over the top and ridiculous, like us.
This time we decided we don't need that. We could do it all on our own. Tom bought his new house, which was just like tailor-made to be a studio, you know, multiple rooms, a large room for drums. You know, the guy who owned the place before him was like a film editor. So we'd already had a film editing studio in there.
Turning this into a drum room.
Not a fan of the usual studio recording, fighting traffic every day and getting there. And I'd rather immerse myself in the project and make it more like heavy metal summer camp. And this one was the most summer campy of all of them. It was awesome.
It's time for an Exodus non-metal moment.
This thing's pretty unruly, but if you want suction, it's got it. Hey, this is Tom Hunting coming to you from smoky Northern California. And the smoke is clearing, I think.
Yeah, means it's gonna be a good fucking day for metal.
I have a house here in the mountains and a giant man cave, and Gary and I have been working on this music since early July. Drumsticks, they're not just for drumming anymore, they're for scratching too. We started having what I call jam camps. We would drink beer at night, and by day we would spend about 5 or 6 hours in my jam room. Let's try something.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just working out arrangements and kind of putting the meat and potatoes of all this music together.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I call the drums the bread, the riffs are the meat, the bread holds the riffs together, and everything else is like condiments. We decided that the vocals would be called cheese, because, you know, most singers are cheesy. Every day in the mountains is awesome.
Yeah, another day in paradise.
Well, you know, the logistics of recording in the mountains originally pre-pandemic would have been quite simple. You know, we'd flown Andy Sneap out. With concerns about flight restrictions possibly coming up, maybe Andy flies out and we can't even get him home. We all agreed that that was a bad idea. And from there, I was like, we just need a really good engineer.
So I figured out the input list for our B setup.
The first name that came to my mind was Steve Lagudi, who I've known for years, and I know he does a ton of Pro Tools recording for Machine Head. As it turns out, he owns like the most massive Pro Tools rig ever. All portable, all in racks, so we shipped it all out. It allowed us to have more than one studio, and because of the open schedule, I mean, you know, we've spent like 2 months mixing this record.
All right, we'll take. All right, again.
And it was totally awesome. We started out, Tom and I, sweating our asses off. It was like unseasonably hot for the mountains, you know, it's like 100 degrees, and we ended freezing.
And every studio needs a snow blower. We're gonna put some people in that and grind them up for tone.
Feed the remains to the dogs.
Yep.
You know, wondering if we were going to be the first band that started an album in a heat wave and ended in snow.
If we don't get this album done before the snow falls,
We might need it.
we might be blowing.
We might be blowing.
Circumstances allowed us to really work harder than usual. And we always work hard.
That was a little loose at the end, it seems.
Do it again.
But we had no distractions. Like everybody tours in the middle of recording now because it's just what you do. Halfway through an album, you got to stop and go do festivals or some shit. And we didn't have to do that. We just made an album. It's fucking awesome.
We're gonna go to the store. Do we need anything?
Oh, we probably need beer. You and I drank most all of it last night. Nailed it, but I hit a wrong note. What's up, Steve Laguti? How's your first mountain morning?
It's nice and crisp.
Yeah?
Great.
You ready to fucking load in some gear today?
A few more hours, they'll be here. I confirmed the delivery.
I'm
So
fucking stoked.
They're coming.
And it arrives. Shit's getting real now.
We all convened here on August 26th, and I think that day or the next day, a truck backed into my driveway. With 2 giant pallets of recording gear, microphones, rack-mounted shit that I don't even know what, but hopefully makes us sound badass. We hired Steve Laguti, a good friend of ours. He's been on tour with us a couple times. He's very detail-oriented. He takes a lot of notes. He dresses all hard and wears these black clothes, but he's kind of nerdy.
What are you doing down there?
Finally getting to believe this the chills.
You look comfortable, Steve.
Yeah, this is nice.
Steve got his ears spanked
But
today.
you know what?
checking
Most
shit out.
importantly, we got it in one day.
Any hard logistical thinking process, like the band's not even involved. We don't even have to think about stuff because we know that he's already written it down.
What's up, Steve?
Working this part out.
Well, my game plan on this album for gear, my life has come full circle. I was a Marshall guy for my whole life, and then, I retired my modified Marshalls, and I was kind of always looking for something that could approach those. No bullshit. This is the only album this has ever happened. I bet it's never happened for anybody on earth. I plugged my amp rig in to get guitar tone, and I never touched a knob. Nothing.
Killer.
It was exactly the same as from rehearsing the songs with Tom. Didn't touch a damn thing. It didn't need it. It was perfect. It was fucking great.
So stoked.
Me too.
Fuck yeah, son.
I've been up here jamming for years. Like whenever there's a tour coming up, if it's summertime and I'm up here, I'll come up here for 2 weeks and play the drums in the high altitude and get prepared. But this is kind of special for me because it's always been a dream of mine to record, like right outside my bedroom door, basically. It's gotta have a kid to the boom. If our band's gonna be writing a publishing check to AC/DC, I want Phil Rudd to hear that kiddly boom. So yeah, it's kind of special for me. I mean, everybody else has to travel to get here, but we have good accommodations and we're eating good and enjoying the mountains.
That's what we do in the mountains when you're done with drum tracks. You paint an old stove, that's what you do.
It's not a stove anymore, it's just a place to sit a cocktail.
Even better, dude. Looks fucking great.
Nobody was looking forward to like locking out in somewhere in Oakland this time around. I have this, so let's fucking use it.
How about you, Jack Gibson?
I'm ready.
Mountain morning to you.
Hey everybody, this is Jack. I'm here in Northern California in the small town of Hamilton Branch, and you can actually hear the Hamilton Branch right behind me.
Why so heavy?
We're here making a record, man. Since our last album, Blood In, Blood Out, came out, we've been touring mostly without our main member, Gary.
What's up, Jack? Are you grooving on the music? Hey, everybody, this is the new Exodus track. Like it?
I wrote it.
Yeah, Jack wrote this one. It's the album opener.
As most people know, he was in Slayer, but in order to not let the band die, we kept, going out and touring. And we got our friend Craigan Lum from Heathen to come and fill in for him. And we love Craigan, and he did a totally awesome job. And now Gary's back making a record now, and we're gonna get back out there. We got up here right at the very beginning of September, set up our gear, and kind of started going. Got the drums, up and running first. Got Tom recorded, and then now we're working on guitars and bass and vocals. Steve, the engineer, has a lot of gear. That was one of the reasons why we hired him. And he brought everything out that we would need to record here. He brought a ton of mics, tons of preamps, his whole Pro Tools rig.
Palette number 1. Mm-hmm.
It came on 2 pallets, and we had to kind of unpack the pallets.
Shredding ass flamenco, Ingve-ish, fucking Barcelona shit going on.
So that kind of took the first week, getting everything set where we wanted it.
Size matters, Jack.
And then we focused it.
When you're fucking with sound, I guess size matters.
Tom deciding where the drums were gonna go, like where the snare sounded best, whether to do it in the garage or in the jam room. Once they got the scratch tracks in, then it was our turn to start.
That one always gets me because it's different.
So songwriting, mostly Gary writes music and lyrics.
Kind of make some of the ends of the word sharper. Okay. Like, I took the blame. And go up a little more on up and then down. Like, I will rise up and drop you all. I will rise up and drop you out.
So him and Tom had been coming up here starting to get the music together, and once they had a handle on that, then is when I kind of come out and join the team after they have basically the skeleton of everything set up.
Pre-production also would be great because we could hand Jack recordings of shit because he's still got to learn all of this.
Gary shows me the stuff, then I kind of go in a room and sit there and drill on it for a couple weeks while they get the rest of it together, and then it's my turn to go in and do bass.
Tell me if you like it better with the triplets or if I go like straight. Like when I go straight.
The riff isn't triplet.
No, I know, right. So try it again and let me hear it.
Sounds better when you simplify it.
Yeah. That's better though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the music is very like thrash. It's just pure thrash metal. Only the way Gary can put that stuff together.
Can you show me the
the dance.
So he always comes up with a couple new ideas, things people haven't heard before, and that's in there. The lyrics are, not so surprisingly, they're kind of political. He kind of touches on all kinds of things that are going on today. And, like Gary does, he kind of leaves it ambiguous. It's not really leaning on one side or the other. It's just stating the brutality and the realness of, the things that are going on.
I want to do all of these sections over again.
How come all the mics are on one cab?
Because we're only starting getting sounds on that cab, which has 75 watt Celestians, and this one, which has vintage 30s, my preferred.
The first
but
one.
that cab, Danny's cab, sounds amazing.
First one we did, Tom, was all the mics dead center on the cone on the Marshall. And now we're going to do dead center on the other.
Which allows us to pick our mics. Then we'll fine tune the microphones themselves. And this cab sounds much brighter than this one.
I'm cool with that.
I think the 2 cabs mic'd up is going to be almost like having 2 heads with different sounds. So it's going to be great. kind of making up some parts there too. That's been different. Other than the riff part, all the chords have been different there every time we've ever jammed it. You got to do more with them than you would with some modern high gain amp, but the end result is you get a tone that's uniquely yours. Whereas like there's a million amps that are amazing, but you know, I hear 20 different bands using the amps and I hear the same guitar tone on 20 different albums, you know? But this one, guitars are sick. They're fucking sick. This guitar sounds fucking great. You know why? Same pickup as that Yamaha. These fucking EMG passives are fucking great.
It's time once again for an Exodus non-metal moment.
Inversion table for those old man backs. Yep, need it.
Yeah, I ordered beer. I don't have to, you know. I ordered beer on it.
You know, we're just hanging, barbecuing. It's great because like after the Bass Strikes Back tour, we hadn't seen each other for 6 months. So it's kind of nice to like reconvene, and we have 11 badass new songs. Do I coming up? Huh? Creating new music and recording is basically the only thing we can control right now. So we're taking full control of that time and just, you know, seizing the moment.
Look who showed up today, though, along with the smoke. Steve fucking Souza. Welcome to the jam camp.
Can't wait. Excited. Ready to go.
I heard that we were all going up to record the album together as a band. And we hadn't done that since really Fabulous. But this one was where we were all up there at the same time together.
Rifleman Gary Holt has entered the competition.
In the past, I would come in and the drums and bass are already done. I never even seen the drummer or the bass player on some of the records that I've done. But on this record, we all kind of came up here together and we're working out. Like I'll sing, and then when I'm done singing, Jack will come in, and when Jack's done, Gary finishes rhythms or leads, and that's kind of how it's been going.
It being the first line, it's come in harder.
Obey the order, something like that?
Like a little more grunty, but not too grunty.
Okay, so not so pinchy then. Obey the order! Kind of like that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Not too pinchy. That's a good word for it. Pinchy.
Okay, pinchy. Obey the order, drop it to the rate.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Cool. And everybody's got input on what everybody else is doing.
Where blind consumption goes, that's where you're saying the first line, the brutal truth is, and you know.
The problem is it won't make sense with that line. Going back over it so we make sure that it's the right stuff.
No. We'll move it.
We'll move it.
But you'll be in the groove.
The brutal truth is. Yes.
The evil chicken. That's all I hear now. Sounded killer.
You know, we were 5 guys that play music, not just, okay, well, his tracks are done now, you can fly in and do yours and never see the guy.
What do they call it, a smudge stick?
Oh, that's Rick from Rick and Morty.
Let me get a close up.
Some cartoony bullshit.
Dude, this shit
I don't
fucking...
know nothing about it.
It's good.
That's riffing out. He's writing a hit. He's making heavy metal history.
I feel 2 inches shorter today.
Why is that?
That fucking guitar, it's a boat anchor.
The guitars I used for this album, you know, because we recorded in the mountains and I was 3 hours each way from home, you know, I had to really pick and choose what I was going to drag up there, you know, because I couldn't take 20 guitars and I'm not going to use 20, you know, and I took a couple of my favorite ESPs and I took this 1984 Yamaha that I use on all the rhythm tracks. I took a Takamine acoustic, my Gibson V for rehearsing the drop tune stuff because I had it strung up and going back and forth from guitar to guitar, you know. 1987 Jackson Soloist Arch Top, number 18 made. Used on all the rhythm tracks on Impacts is Imminent, Fabulous Disaster, and Force of Habit. Freshly tuned up. It's awesome. I enjoy playing rhythm more than I do playing lead. If I had to give one up, leads are gone in a second. Bye. Yeah, I don't want to be a shred guy. You know, I want to play riffs. I want to crush.
What I always do, like in the initial part of the process, everything will be sounding great, drum tones are great. So So I'll have everything, I'll just bump everything up and up and up and up, and then the guitars will go up, and then pretty soon I'm getting a sonic beat down to where I can't even figure out a beat.
Fuck yeah. The snare sounds fucking crushing right here. Snare just it's like fucking slap me upside the head.
God, this is so much fun and like so no pressure. Everybody and their mothers out there making records right now, and a lot of them are doing it the same way we are, but we just gotta make ours better. Should have sampled the snare on this song because I'm beating the fuck out of it right now.
Hey, remember at the end though, get the bingo!
I had a ham and cheese quesadilla for lunch. It was awesome. I got the glass drums. I'm gonna use a stick on them. Just go. Do it. Andy's gonna look at this song and he's gonna go, oh, they fucked up there, let me fix it. And it's ridiculous, but I'm gonna do it.
You know, I guess the decision was made, you know, listen, we can't do anything else, might as well do an album. Tom, you know, he bought this cabin up in the mountains, and we could just go there and kind of isolate ourselves and record this thing.
Fucking heavy.
Like it?
Yeah, I love it.
You know, I mean, it's like the new way of doing things. Like, why would you want to be in the stuffy studio, paying a lot of money? I mean, that's where we've done it all the time, you know, before. That was the standard. It's like you go to some expensive studio and spend tons of money. It takes you forever to recoup, which is really smart.
Should I do like the muted or the...
Well, you could try both when it comes time to tracking.
You work at your own pace, there's no pressure, you know. Sometimes they say, I mean, you know, you need that kind of pressure and anger and all that to create great albums, like, you know, like we did. And I'm like, well, you might be right on the first or second album when you're young, but now that we're old and old ticker is not, you know, as strong as it used to be, I don't need stress.
What are we gonna do for the break? Because you're doing something different now.
So right?
So let's get. Or do I do the same thing?
Stress will not create a better album.
Let's go through the slow section and then come to that and work out how that's gonna go down.
Well, we wanted to, you know, since, I mean, we have all the time in the world and everything else, and Gary got a bunch of these new mics, so he had ideas like, let's, you know, not, you know, go to camper like we did the last album. Let's experiment like we used to do, like where we would put out a bunch of cabinets and a bunch of amps and a bunch of guitars and a bunch of mics and try to search for a tone.
It's still, I don't know, man. The tuning still sounds fucking fucked up to me.
Sounds like you just need to flatten it a little bit.
Yeah, the journey, I mean, I like that. I like to experiment. I mean, same with Gary. We're just like, oh, give me this guitar, give me that guitar, you know. Okay, let's change amps. So let's put this in, you know.
Bam, bam. Okay.
It was fun. It was like the old days, you know. End, I mean, people will hear it, and this, you know, in the end, they'll decide. It's like, well, is the tone that something that they like more? It's a more of a natural tone.
Sounds killer now. Wow, sounds freaking heavy as fuck.
Back to the left.
That is a fucking. That is an amazing
Just
guitar.
stay on this one. I'll do this one, and then we'll switch.
Well, they'll say, well, it sounds like, you know, like any other Exodus tone. So, which, I mean, it does sound like Exodus.
fucking sick, dude.
And going through different pedals. I mean, Gary liked the Tube Screamer. I like the Super Overdrive a little bit more, you know, but it's a slight difference.
All right, that's on time. All right, we gotta execute that.
The main tone is in the Marshall, you know. People put too much emphasis on, like, oh, 57 Les Paul, listen to the sustain. It's like, it doesn't matter. So the tone is so saturated with different things. It's like, it doesn't matter, you know. It's like, it might be an expensive guitar. In the bigger scheme, the main tone is like, you know, the microphones and the placement and the tone that's coming from your amp, you know, and the hand. With this band, I mean, you know, we're really picky about the tone.
You sound great now.
It's like weird.
I mean, if the tone is not good, we'll start pouting. You know, can't have it.
We, of course, have Bailoff's Ashes here with us. I'm trying to say hi, Paul. There you go. There's Paul in there.
We are very much aware that it's been 7 years since Exodus has put out an album, and you know, we're not going to give you anything less. This album has everything that a heavy metal fan, an Exodus fan wants. It's very brutal. It's very violent. It's very fast. The lyrics are very aggressive and really deep subject matter.
Yeah, that was killer.
It doesn't disappoint.
Pretty fucking savage.
Here's another Exodus non-metal moment.
Cool. Now I gotta sneeze on the.
You want me to do that like thorn in my side kind of singing? Bless you. I'm working on getting down the lyrics that Gary has written in, and then I'm writing lyrics for songs as well.
I mean, the coolest thing about recording the way we did is, and what made Tom the happiest he's ever been, is the ability to never say your drum tracks are done.
I have massive flexibility with the drum parts.
I could redo it too.
Botox moment. Smooth out the wrinkles.
The way it usually works is I go into a studio, the drum parts are already worked out, but I have about 6 or 7 days to do my tracks, and then I can never revisit those tracks again. So it's kind of special this time around, because if I hear something I don't like, later I can go, I think I want to change that fill to that. I think this will accent the riff better there. I've never had that kind of freedom before. Come on in, baby.
Come on in, Jack.
Come on in, baby.
It's kind of cool. I'm hearing all the nuance in the drums that I don't hear when we're fucking listening.
The drums are always set up and ready to record. You know, like I could be like 80% done with all the rhythm tracks, and he's listens back and goes, you know, I still was kind of learning that song when we tracked it. I could crush it now. And so, all right, go get behind the kit.
And it's kind of cool to be present for everybody else doing their parts too, because like usually I do my part and I'm off doing something else after that.
But he was able to keep working as well as all of us, you know. So the level of creativity was like really phenomenal.
I'm confident in the songs that we got on this record. It's very musical, there's lots of diversity on it. Everybody's killing it on their parts, and we're having fun, and that's like really important too, you know? Ninjas were throwing knives and stars at me, and then I took an axe away from one of them, and I was guarding myself and my wife with it.
All because of a couple of bites off one of my Fresno chilies.
Totally. Yeah, we're enjoying this process, and me especially, because like I said, I've never had this kind of freedom.
New drum sound for the new Exodus.
Oh yeah.
It's crushing, used it on everything.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're having a lot of fun.
Drums are laying low for a little while because Tom Hunting finished.
We're very far from everything up here, and we kind of picked up here because, well, for one thing, Tom lives up here most of the year. We rented this house because it was too many people to just be at Tom's house. Kind of being up here, it gets us away from all the things at our homes that distract us, just the day-to-day, feeding the dogs, paying the bills, gets us clear-minded, and then we all can kind of cabal together and be creative together.
Sometimes that works though, even like having having an inferior tone in there kind of fills in the cracks.
It's kind of an old-fashioned way of recording. I mean, bands used to do that in the 70s a lot, and it just kind of gets you out of the city and out of your normal mind frame where you can just even turn your phone off and it doesn't even matter up here. Just have days of just dealing with music.
I love the little bass and guitar call and response thing.
And being creative.
Like if it's too many notes, then it jumps on it. Like I've just been doing like...
Yeah.
So you can really just focus on the music and what's happening.
Now you're going crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it different, that's why.
No, they're choruses. The natural tendencies will make them sound different, but all your favorite rock songs. You didn't want Cat Scratch Fever to be 20 times different every time Ted sang it.
You're right. Okay, go ahead.
Badass. It's Jack Gibson.
Well, my routine's been kind of boring, I have to admit, because 95 Gary Holt riffs dumped in my lap, and I have to sit here and fucking learn them, man, And they're not easy, and Lee wrote a song on this one too, and it's just notes all over it.
How's that go, Lee?
Chicken from McDonald's.
Evil chicken.
I've been sitting in my room there in Studio B, literally just teaching myself the songs. Every so often they call up and, the studio's open, somebody's done, and then I go in and play a song and put it in the can and then come back and just kind of keep working.
Yeah.
I've got 4 of them done. I'm going to do like 1 or 2 more tomorrow, and then, we'll inch towards it being done.
I want each one of those to be exactly perfect because they're sitting out there by themselves.
Power politics, you're rushing it when you don't have to. It's power politics while thousands of clicks.
Okay.
Power politics while thousands of clicks from the front lines.
Yeah, that was killer.
I'm fucking up the bat right now, baby. I never had a vocal approach like this before. I'm gonna go really high here. Smile at the beatings on a punch. You don't want to do that?
No, I want you to go intense as fuck on this. There's a lot of, that was great in that.
A lot of different Zetro going on this album, I think. There's a lot of hills and valleys.
In there.
I explored a lot of different angles, and I think that everybody's gonna really like it.
Give me a fucking brutal always asleep.
Scream, yell, death, what? Always asleep.
Yep.
Always asleep.
Brutal.
I have this little camera, and I would film Gary with the music in the background, and he would sing the way he wanted the lyrics to go. And then I would take the video that I shot of him and I would learn how he sang it, and then I would practice it to the music myself and back and forth. And that's basically how I learned this stuff.
I gotta figure out the rest of the chords.
Once again, it's time for a non-metal moment.
And
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
oh, sorry.
Please repeat what you said.
Sorry, Siri.
It's okay.
Really?
This river you see behind me, it's making all the noise, is I guess our serene atmosphere that we have here.
I get up very early, and so I like to track early. So 11 o'clock. And I'll track for 2 or 3 hours until I feel that my voice is tired, and then I'll go back to the home base and learn more of what I need to do that's coming up.
Let's do And We Watch It All Fall and do kind of like a lower scream.
I could do the whole last line kind of, yeah, we watch it all fall! Like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Yeah, we watch it all fall!
We listen to the vocals and we go back, and I always do fixes, so I went in after and added some vocal stuff and changed a couple of vocal things.
Just going strong. Never awake.
Okay. Never awake!
Let's put in the Always Asleep and see how it goes.
How do you want me to do that? I mean, I was like whisper, like, always asleep.
You can try it. We don't want to get too artsy fartsy.
I want to be artsy a little bit. Okay, let's see what it does.
Never awake! Always asleep.
Let me think for a second.
Yeah, Andy could put some fucking total effect on it and be like sick.
I was thinking about having you double a heavy one over your whisper and see how that sounds.
Okay. Always asleep.
Let's get rid of the heavy one and do a second whisper.
Always asleep.
Cool. That was very good.
What we're looking at here is the side studio or Studio B. That's so that I can kind of get some work done while they're over there tracking at the main place. First and foremost, obviously, it's my trusty old Yamaha. This is the one that I record with always. I never take her out on the road. I just leave her at home, and I wait for just this time when we're recording. I'm using a little TC clip-on tuner just to get close reference. I like the TC tuners. I'm running into this Little Labs Red Eye. I always DI through Little Lab stuff. It's some of the best direct circuitry I think that there is. I'm also using the Apollo Twin. Comes from UAD, a great little unit to use if you only need 1 or 2 tracks. So between those two, then I'm just running into my MacBook, using Pro Tools, and we're getting some of the metal together here. Then back over here, what we have is my GOMC guitar bass vault, and I have 3 of these basses here with me. And these 2 are ones that I just tour with. They stay in the vault. The strings that I've been using on these guys, I really like them. They're from Dunlop Custom Super Brights. They're really made for thumb players, like funk players. The guys at Dunlop thought that I might like these because of the way that I play with that kind of a bright action. So they recommended me these, and I love them, man. And I recommend them to anyone that wants to play aggressive music. I don't use an amp in the studio. Andy will reamp what I send him direct, and that's what makes the sound.
Hold the word scream.
Okay.
Scream for more red meat.
Scream for more red meat. One line on the boat.
I think the compositions on the record are over the top.
It's harvest time.
One snap. Hear the weeping.
It's harvest time. It's harvest time.
What are you harvesting?
Yep.
Harvesting bodies.
And welcome to our crazy drum world. It's kind of drum city in here. We've been tracking in my man cave. Going with a different tom combination this time. Usually I have 10, 12, 13, 18. This time I went 12, 13, 14, 18. The Anton Fig snare drum, which has been one of my favorites for years. My band hates it because it's so damn loud. Oh, I was just telling you, I tweaked my snare drum. It's even louder now. You're gonna love it.
No!
They threatened to punch Anton Fig if they ever meet him in person because of this.
Can't fucking do that.
Gotta hit it like it owes you money. This is my second time recording with this drum set. The drum sound's just been great on this record. And we did it in my garage, so, we didn't even have to get a fancy studio to do it. I did a little jungle ending part, channeling my inner Sepultura. want to talk a little bit about my cymbal setup here. I use 13-inch Soundcaster hi-hats because they're fast. You want your cymbals to kind of get in and get out. I got a classic 16 over here. It's nice and fast. 17 or 18-inch Byzance. This one's a little deeper than the classic. The Rock Splash I've been using for years. It's explosive and it's quick. I used an MB20. And this thing is killer for thrash metal because it's like deep and dark. I use it for a lot of crash ride stuff because it's a great thrash metal cymbal. Got some Byzance 14-inch hi-hats over here. They're nice and, on my X-hat, they're like crisp and deep. And then I got a big old 22-inch Byzance ride. Mostly for the China work, I used just a good old MB8. I've had it for years. For like the slow, doomy stuff, I put up this big sucker here. And this is an MB20. It's a 20-inch Rock China, and this thing is like, get down, get down, get down, get down. Anyway. This is the best I could come up with. I got EQs on the kick drums, nice and thunderous. On the snare, we got a reverse dot EC1, pretty killer. On the toms, we got G2s. Out of this whole recording, we did 11 songs and some B-sides, and I only changed the heads twice. But this old relic snare drum, it's over 50 years old. It's a very angry old snare drum. This is my graveyard. I broke a few sticks on this record. We did 11 songs and some B-sides, and the sticks have been holding up great. I use a regular old wood tip 5A. I used to use 2Bs, but you know, as I'm getting older, I need to throw things around quicker. I need to get from there to there with a quickness. You could hit hard, you could dig in. I think I broke 5 sticks like during tracking, which is pretty amazing because I hit pretty hard. I love the sticks. Everybody at Vic Firth, keep up the good work.
Put a little more of your snarl on Untoward.
Just because it's the first song, I wanted to go, whoa, it's totally different. Zetro didn't sound like Zetro, you know what I mean?
As it is, this song's gonna just destroy people.
Jack, his bass is just booming. When do you hear the bass so booming on a record? And Tom was just insane on it.
I already fucked it up.
And Lee and Gary were just, their leads are just on fire.
Like, I'm gonna do a third guitar track with a different tone, cleaner.
Again, back to the compositions. The songs aren't just verse, chorus, verse, bridge, lead. You know, there's a lot of thought going on here. There's a lot of groove going on there. There's a lot of different things, and it's all really, really heavy.
Try to get a little more flow on right in your day, like little PMA through pepper spray to put a little joy right in your day.
A little PMA through pepper spray to put a little joy right in your day.
Killer.
Sounds amazing. I'm very proud of this album.
You know, like that. No, like deeper though. Built in the ire. You know, like super simmering anger.
Built in the ire and derision.
I'm cool with all of that. That sure is purty.
This shit's work.
Braiding all that hemp makes your hands tough.
Yeah.
Here's another Exodus non-metal moment.
Said it's a pajama kind of day for Steve today.
It's easier to get these off than jeans when you have to shit.
Steve has had the shits today.
Thanks to the mail order meat.
Grab from the soul.
Shit's so heavy. I still get goosebumps when I listen to it. Do it again, but I'm not gonna do a slide. And I get sick of listening to my own shit. By the time a CD's actually been released, people say, did you put it on? No, I've heard it 5,000 times through the mixing process. I don't want to hear it anymore, and I still listen to it. Again, and I'm going to go back and fix the first one too. I'm going to stop trying to follow Tom's snare after the 3 stabs. Grata. Did you say gratin? We're not singing about potatoes here. It's a song about fucking disposing of fucking people who are useless to you and labeling them persona non grata, you know? And right now there's a lot of people that fit that bill. And I'm talking on both sides of the coin, you know? Obviously on one side more than the other. That's my opinion, you know? But, you know, we're also last of a dying breed, not just guys that still love bands despite differing political opinions. We're a band built on differing political opinions, but we don't fight about it. We still want to go out and play heavy metal. And we still love each other like brothers, you know? I think the country needs more of that. Let's get the persona non grata.
Okay.
Persona non grata. Crushing. You know, the album's fucking super political without being overtly leftist or centrist or on the right. I mean, I think some people won't even get its political hidden meanings. I don't know. The Exodus, a lot of people don't. War is my shepherd. Yeah, it's kick-ass. It's about killing, kicking ass. No, it's songs about fucking neocons, you know? But people don't get it, and that's okay. I let people interpret the shit exactly how they want. And I'm not going to sit there and go, you're wrong. You know, do you like it? That's what it means to you? Cool. It's all right with me. The song Elitist. There'll probably be people going, yeah, someone's finally like letting the elitists have it. And then someone's going to go, yeah, it's what's wrong with being elite at something, you know? And I'll let them make their own opinions of that, you know? Let's do Motherfucker.
Do you want me to hold it endlessly?
Hold it until the fucking guitars come in. That whole break is you. Okay. Yeah, baby. Savage.
You motherfucker!
Did you hear that shit?
That's awesome.
One of my favorite songs, the second song on the album, REMF, Rear Echelon Motherfucker. Anybody in the military will know exactly what that is. You know, that's the guys calling the shots for the fucking soldiers from the back lines, you know?
Like acceptable death rates!
It's kind of like yelling,
death
right?
rates? Rates?
Rates?
Yeah.
Acceptable death rates!
Yeah.
They know ballistics and they know statistics. Acceptable death rates!
I hope that song becomes a fucking on every soldier's playlist because, you know, we support our fucking soldiers and our heroes as well as our first responders and men and women in law enforcement. You know, it's not a popular opinion.
Cannon fire makes the skies go.
Cannon fire makes the skies glow.
I got it.
Cannon fire makes the skies glow!
The Fires of Division, which, you know, the weird thing is these songs have been done for a while, and the events of the day right now are making the songs more relevant.
A little bit less. Yeah, just so it doesn't sound like you're like imitating some big jazz dude.
I am a big jazz dude.
I know you are, but...
Zetcher wrote 2, Slipping into Madness, about the fentanyl and opioid epidemic, which I retitled it for him. And Elitist was a song I was already working on, but I kind of gave it to him, you know, and I let him, you know, and Zetros, you know, he's a Republican. So, you know, I took a song and I let him create it the way he wanted. And it came out great. It's a fucking badass song. They all are. Prescribing Horror is about the thalidomide babies in UK and Europe in the late 50s and 60s, and that's like the heaviest song on the album. Clickbait, you know, title says it all.
We take the techniques, follow where they lead, with every word they captivate.
And that song, you know, people who are wary of the media are going to love that one. People tend to lie to try to get you to click on that page, you know, and then you read it and like, that's not what the guy said.
Lunatic Liar Lord, our annual bashing of Christianity and simple-minded politics that go behind it.
I'm up in the studio with Exodus right now doing a little solo with Gary. Gary, say hi.
What up?
That's Gary Holt.
There's 4 solos.
Man, that tone is insane, dude. Fuck, that tone is so badass.
Rick Hunolt and Craig and Loom. You know, not real long ones. We took 2 and split them in half. Would have been 2 fairly long solos each, and so Rick and I pair up. What were you gonna do on that last note again?
I'm just gonna like, hey, pow, like that. Yeah, I can't see anyway.
Then there's a rhythm break between the 2, and then Cragen and Lee. And those 2 guys' solos are 2 of my favorite on the album. They're fucking phenomenal. And Zet's kids, Nicholas and Cody, did background vocals on it. Oh yeah, and one of my favorites, the beatings will continue until morale improves. It's probably one of the shortest Exodus songs ever. It's, I think, 3-minute song. I've got an idea here, hold on. Okay. We might make that a background vocal too.
The beatings will continue!
And Rick did backgrounds with us as well.
The beatings will continue.
Yeah.
It ain't me. I've been doing this for 34 years.
Until morale improves.
Until morale
improves. Until morale improves.
Killer. The Years of Death and Dying, the lyrics are written by Tom Hunting, and it's kind of a tribute to a lot of our heroes and friends who've died in these recent years, you know. That song's fucking amazing. And then there's an instrumental, a little acoustic piece called Cosa del Pantano, which is Spanish for swamp thing. Was unintentional, you know, people would say, oh, that's political too, you know, the draining the swamp and all. It was just this real bayou, swampy sounding piece that I wrote. And Tom said you should call it Swamp Thing. And I said, well, that's kind of too obvious. You know, let's, how do you say swamp thing in Spanish? I'm curious to see how many people are like whipping out their little like translators. What the hell does that mean? And you know, if they search it, you're going to see the Spanish movie poster for the movie Swamp Thing.
Yeah, I got one of them like Jesus candles in the fucking jar.
Is it scented?
You know, no.
Could have used one of those here.
You get one of those Gwyneth Paltrow candles that supposedly smells like your stinky, rotten snatch. Fucking smells like fucking carp.
I don't really know how many years I've been playing banjo now. It's got to be about 10 years now. I was on the tour bus and we were in the back. We were watching Oh Brother Where Art Thou for like the 900th time on that tour. And during the montage scene where they're running around and eating the pie and hiding from the cops, and there's a little banjo playing in the back, and I just remember thinking, I'm gonna get a banjo when I get home and learn how to play it. And the other guys were like, yeah, whatever, dude. And I went home and got one and learned how to fucking play it, man.
You know, my influences, you know, most people know, like Richie Blackmore's my hero, Michael Schenker, Ted Nugent. Might not agree on politics, but, you know, he's my hero. You know, like, I'm one of the last of a dying breed who's able to separate, you know, fuck that dude, I'm going to burn all his albums. You want my copy of Double Live Gonzo, you got to pry it from my cold, dead fingers. It's like my hero. He's the guy who made me want to play. Bigger than life. He looked like he was 15 feet tall on stage when I was 16-year-old me, you know? You know, and how do you not become a replica of your heroes? You just never learn how to play their shit exactly the way they do. I'm good at faking it. But the faking in between all the licks and stuff is what makes it a little bit yours with some flavor of those guys. Because, you know, I was never one of those guys who sat down and learned how to exactly replicate what they were doing, you know? I just fake it. And the faking kind of creates your own style, you know?
It's time once again for an Exodus non-metal moment.
I just heard some guy singing today. It sounded like Devil. Was that the lead singer? I mean, it was cool.
He sings and he sings and he screams and he barks and he does all kinds of crazy shit.
I'm a Star Wars geek. I read the books, I watch the movies, I build the Lego ships, and I'm totally a kid when it comes to that. You know, Star Wars, I was just the right age for it to be like the biggest thing of my childhood. Like that time between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, and then waiting for Return of the Jedi, like that was my whole childhood right there. It's kind of one of the things from my youth that I hold on to and don't really want to let go of, so.
What's up, metalhead? Steve Zetro Souza from Exodus, and right now I'm in the middle of the European tour, The Bay Strikes Back. That's right.
We flew into Europe February 5th to start the Bay Strikes Back tour with Testament and Death Angel.
Which we've done many, many tours with forever over the years. We're both on the tours.
Sold out every night.
Everyone was super excited. It was Gary's first tour back with us in quite a while.
This is a one-time chance to ever see all three Bay Area Titans on one show.
When you can pull up to a venue and know that you can walk into each other's dressing room or do whatever, you know, because you know each other and you know each other's karma and you know how everybody rolls, was just a lot of fun.
The Bay Strikes Back tour. It's in Europe, it's here. Get your tickets now.
The shows were amazing. Everything was packed.
And this was just when the coronavirus just starting to be talked about.
Obviously, nobody knew about this virus and what it was, you know, and it's the normal thing. And some people get sick on tour. I mean, it's like a flu or whatever.
But during the tour, everybody felt okay.
Then you kind of see people, you know, other people getting sick, but it wasn't anything unusual, you know. It's like, all right, well, some people got bad flu and on tour, I mean, that's what do? You take Jägermeister shot and move on, you know. It's like, there's your medicine.
About halfway through the tour, everything kind of got pretty serious, especially over there in Europe.
You kind of watch the news and everybody's like, don't panic, it's nothing. And once the Milan show got canceled, it kind of got a little bit more serious. I mean, we went on to Spain. After those shows, we left and there was like a huge outbreak there. Like we almost brought it in or something.
We started hitting cities and they would close the city down that night to all entertainment and all gatherings over 2,000.
Well, we knew about 2 weeks with it left that it was kind of getting rampant. As soon as we couldn't go from Switzerland into Italy and we went straight to Spain, we knew that, wow, okay, this is like, you know, getting kind of real.
Zurich shut down, but we still got to play. Then Italy shut down and we didn't get to make it, so we went to Barcelona.
We were booked to play the Dynamo Festival in Holland, and we were booked to play Japan, and we had a US run, and all that kind of got put off, which leads us to where we are now.
And we didn't even know at the time that Spain was riddled. And then from Spain, we went to the UK, and the UK was riddled. So we kept going to all the hot spots. I think that's probably why so many people from our tour actually did get sick.
We were just following like the wave of all of this.
You know, we were lucky, just only the last one. I think it was in Hanover that was canceled. So we went through the whole tour pretty much.
Everybody was doing fine, and we wrapped up the tour. Everybody said their goodbyes, then we got home and some people got very, very sick.
I guess 40 band and crew on that tour, some Euro crew, some US, and out of 47 people got sick when they got home.
You know, it wasn't like the obvious thing to where it's like, oh my God, this guy just, you know, like what Will in the end is he went in the coma. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, that's crazy.
Obviously, most people know the story about Will. He was in the hospital for a long time.
Every night, Will and I were like arm in arm, probably trading shot glasses and much spit flying through the air.
We were flying back, and I was actually having, you know, like the usual, hey, Will, I mean, you want to get a beer? And it's like, oh, of course, you know, that's what we do. And I was sitting right next to Will. I should have known right then that something was wrong because we all ordered beers and he orders a smoothie, you know, it's like, Will never orders a smoothie. At least I've never seen it. I mean, unless it's had alcohol, you know, in it. So all of a sudden he orders that, and I'm like, what the hell is that? You know, he's like, I'm kind of going to start off with this and see how things go. only later on it all kind of came together, because by the time we were getting on the plane, he started to feel pretty bad, and the whole ride, and by the time we landed, I mean, he was in pretty bad shape by then,
They didn't even know if he was actually going to make it or not.
We came home and Will Carroll was on a ventilator and I was sick and several of us had it and I was very sick.
But I was lucky I didn't get it. And Will's lucky too because he recovered. I'm very happy about that.
Had a car pick me up to take me home and I started feeling bad in the car. Then I fought to get a COVID test, and when I finally yelled at enough people and got one, it took 11 long days to get my results.
We were pretty much one of the luckiest bands because actually our tour ended the day before the travel ban kicked into effect. So we were literally like the last band to be able to finish a tour and get home.
After that, when we came back, everything shut down. We were supposed to do other tours, and I mean, it was just everything shut down for a lot of people.
Most people don't really know who don't tour, but you wipe a couple dates off of a tour and you've lost all your money.
And in this industry, of course, was hit one of the worst. It's like there's nothing you can do. I mean, what we do is travel and interact with people,
And I got home to Nashville and everybody was coming home, man. It was just people and guitars and keyboards and drum cases coming off the thing because everybody was coming home from their tours and everyone was ruined, man, because they had to come home halfway through or, they had to cancel the last week.
We had 2 shows canceled. If the tour had started 2 weeks later, it'd been a financial disaster for all of us.
Man, it was rough, and we were just so lucky that we all got home. Like, we all got home with our money and basically finished because a lot of people didn't fare so well, man.
Bass Strikes Back tour was some of the most fun I ever had, and I thought I was going to die in a shipwreck.
To get to Finland, it's more feasible to take the ferry from Stockholm to Helsinki.
Boat ride from hell. I mean, personally, for me, it was like the worst thing ever because I never get sick. Not from alcohol or boat rides or anything,
And we hit this fucking storm, dude, and it was insane.
And I was pretty sick. I was just laid out, throwing up, basically the whole time.
It was Mark Azagueda's birthday, and we were partying in the bar, and everybody's having a good time, and the sea just started getting more and more crazy.
Our boat probably should have never left port.
You couldn't even really walk on that. That thing was going just...
This was a category 11 out of a 12.
I didn't think we were going to die, but I was like, wow, this is pretty bad.
I was swaying back so hard, I couldn't even keep my balance.
It's like, I can't believe they actually let this boat leave.
And I was in my cabin and I'm laying in the bed and the boat was going up like this. And I thought, well, if this thing goes down, we're done. Even if you get into a boat, you'll die of hypothermia and so quick.
You're like out there cut off from civilization. There's no internet or anything else. Then all of a sudden, we start hearing these rumors like, oh my God, the buses went under or the truck went under, all these rumors. And we're like,
the Testament truck fell into the Black Sea and what happened? Yeah, just back of the boat opened up. The fucking truck just fell off. He never got on. They wouldn't allow him on.
So a couple of people, I guess they were still able to somehow keep drinking and not get sick, which is pretty amazing.
The first show in Finland, Testament played on our gear. They didn't have any of their gear because the truck didn't get there on time.
I still have a banner someone made at one of the shows and it said, "Welcome back to the mothership, Gary." And it was tons of fun.
How's about another Exodus non-metal moment?
You want to be the DVD? That's a good doggy. That's a good doggy. Dogs are the best, dude.
The plan all along was to do more Bass Strikes Back tours. It was super fun and super hugely successful. Right now, things are up in the air. We're booked for Europe for the summer, and let's hope it happens.
Everything pertaining to our job and what we do for a living involves cramming as many people into a building as possible. That in itself is not possible right now.
We're just like any other band. It's like, you kind of plan ahead a year out. Try to book shows.
We don't know when we're going to be able to go back on tour and do what we do again for a living.
Problem is like everybody's going to be out. Everybody wants to get out. They've been like caged animals, and so I don't even know how this whole thing is going to work.
By the time this comes out, it's going to be a different world, and just we don't really know, man. We're just hoping it's going to come back and we can play shows and everybody will come, but Who knows at this point?
Pretty high hopes of Europe getting their shit together vaccination-wise, you know. I hope. But we're booked, you know. Rather than book it and not have it happen than wait and then it happens and we miss the boat to actually get out on these festivals, you know.
There's so many variables that figure into it. Like, how are they gonna safely let 1,000 people come into a building and congregate? You know, will it be a situation where like it'll be done in bigger venues with smaller crowds? Like some people have been doing that.
Remember, this virus, this whole thing is supposed to be 2 weeks, you know. Then it was like a couple of months. I mean, here we are a year later.
We need to play live. The type of music we play is best delivered live anyway. We need that audience kind of like in our face.
Are people, you know, gonna come to the shows and because there's high demand and they've been cooped up like that, you know, and they want to get out and do this? Or is there a large percentage that's still insecure and afraid?
Everybody's making a record right now, so there's going to be a lot of music out. So hopefully we can all go play it. Hopefully the venues will be open. Like, you know, we don't really know.
We'll prepare for whatever eventuality happens. And hopefully that'll include some live shows.
There's been a big blow to this industry. I mean, as well as, the businesses and, you know, and how it's going to recover. It's just, I guess we will see once that happens, you know, and that's going to be interesting to watch.
I've not banged my head in almost a full calendar year. I don't know if it's even going to survive it anymore. Shit, my head might fall off, my neck might break, I might need surgery. Who knows? I don't know. But I can't wait to do it again. I'm really, really lonely for that shit. I miss it.
It's time for a final non-metal moment.
Okay. Ba-ba-da-ba. It's like a big band thing.
Right.
Da-da-da-da.
Okay.
It's harvest time.
It's harvest time.
It's harvest time. It's harvest time. Yeah.
How's it feel to be done?
I'm not done. Ask me tomorrow when the truck door closes.
Did you have fun?
I did. It was an honor. I'm a mess.
The music sounds great. Everything's killer.
Now it's up to Andy. Next.
We're definitely handing him something he doesn't have to work too hard on.
A silent killer, something you have never heard of that is taking lives away so recently.
Me as being a heavy metal fan,
This is a great heavy metal record, man.
an absolute thrash metal masterpiece. It's got all of the elements that an Exodus record should have. All I can say is, be happy. We're here doing it right now, and it's fucking killer.
Anyway, I hope everybody enjoys the album. I hope you enjoy this stupid DVD of a bunch of guys drinking beer in the mountains. Oh, during massive forest fires, too, I might add.
This isn't fog, people. It's fucking smoke.
With a couple of days of air quality was so bad, we should not have been anywhere within 100 miles of it.
In all this smoke, Steve Lagudi is doing what? He's fucking smoking, isn't he?
That's right.
Dude, if there's ever time to quit smoking, it's now, bro.
It's fucking crazy. All for you. Metal. That's metal. Breathing smoke to make fucking smoking songs.
Well, we figured we would bookend this thing with the gear going out of here.
All right, Andy, your turn.
Yep, and that's that. That's a wrap, Steve.
Almost.
This is the bookend sequence, Steve.
Yeah. Feels like yesterday.
Totally.
2 months later.
Except the skies are better. The air is cleaner.
No, the air was good like the first day. It's all right. Then it went to shit when we started creating the hell. There it goes. See you in New York.
Wow, wow.
And that's a wrap. Or that's a wrap. This means hurry up.
Yeah, we'll keep going.